Bosco here once again to bring you something a little new, something a little different, something very fun. Let me first, though, grab my co-host. Hello, hello. He's got to get his mic real quick. He'll be joining us in a second. Should have been more prepared. Should have been more prepared. But that's no problem. So, let me just grabbing my scripts. Less of a script and more of just a, here's all the things I want to talk about and make sure I get on top of. So, we're doing something new today, something interesting, something wild and crazy. And it's kind of what actually got me into streaming all in the first place. Is we're going to do a talk show. And it's not the first talk show I've done before. It is, in fact, almost a reboot of something that no one asked for. Hello?
What's up, gamer?
Oh, not much. I'm just telling everyone who is or is not here that we're rebooting something that no one asked us to reboot. Awesome. And I am also starting up a thing to sort of have playing in the background if anyone feels like, they want to do let's see. Well, no, I don't want to no, I don't want to. So let's delete this. Let's make a copy of my main game thing. But instead, we shall make the maybe webcam a little bigger. Yes. And then all right. All right. Now, if you happen to be watching the Twitch server there, Cody, you will find that you'll be able to join me as we do a little race in marbles on stream.
All right. Let's see. Oh, I'd have to be logged in for that. Okay, yeah.
Yep. It's okay. But that's not the main reason why we're here. We're not here to play marbles on stream. The main reason we are here is to enjoy some talking and chatting about shit that's happened this week and this year, in fact.
Yes. Yeah, I legit haven't logged into Twitch in a long time, but I'll see if I can get the marble game going for you, my man.
Cool beans. Well, I guess have you had a chance to look at the docket of things I wanted to shit on this week?
Little bit. Let's see here.
All right. Well, I think the first thing I want to do is just talk about this week in geek. So I think the first thing I wanted to talk about, little tiny thing was Deathloop getting delayed once again for, we're going to try and make it perfect as possible. But this also happens, at the same time, Bethesda's just been bought out by Microsoft and whatnot. So I'm not sure if there's possibly some intentional, we want to make this more exclusive for us. We're not going to make it entirely exclusive, I think they've said, right? They've said that it's going to be partially exclusive, partially, eventually. It's similar to Deathloop, except in the other direction of Xbox will get almost everything first, everything better, and then everyone else will get it.
and then we shall hand it over to the plebeians.
You will get the scraps when I say you get the scraps.
Yes. Oh, man. Yeah, I think as far as Deathloop goes, considering the merger and stuff, it's a new IP with the purchasing going on. There's not a whole lot of resources that Bethesda probably felt comfortable adding to that. Like, you know what? This is like low on the priority list. You know, like, would it be nice to go to 99 Bottles and grab some fancy alcoholic root beer? Yes, but it's so far out of the way. I'm just going to do my normal shopping for now. Maybe someday, you know.
Yep. Oh, I should say thank you to MQ50570. I think that's Marco.
Yeah.
A friend of mine who actually just followed me 15 hours ago. So yeah, that was one of the first things. I've also got on here talking about, let's see, I've got Kojima at Xbox. That was one of the ones that I was really hoping we could get somebody on here who actually plays Kojima games. And I'm very excited about it because I don't play Kojima games. You know why I don't play Kojima games, Cody?
Why, John?
Because they're all on PlayStation! And I don't play goddamn PlayStations.
Rotten Cinematic, no, because they fight for the other side.
And it seems like there is with everything that happened with Konami, seems to be leaking over into PlayStation and make it, because it's on top of a lot of other shit that's going on with PlayStation and Konami, kind of like stumbling in the next generation of all this, of all the gaming and whatnot that's going on in the next PlayStation 5. I haven't heard a lot of great things about going for PlayStation 5. I don't own any of the new consoles yet. That'll be a poll I'll put up there. It's like, I've got money, what should I spend it on? Purse should be in here.
Probably under your skin.
Yeah.
Where did I put your purse, love? Right there.
Hi. You're coming with me. Easy walk. Easy walk.
Ariel is going to go get a shower and a bath and a cut, so they're going to be coming back. You want to show everyone up before? Look at a furry puppy.
Before. I can't see the camera, so I don't know how well we're doing.
Hey there, Ariel.
Before.
Who's a good puppy?
Okay, she's thoroughly upset now.
Yeah, she's thoroughly upset. We're going to take her away.
You probably heard my voice through the damn headphones.
No, I probably didn't. She had a pretty good time taking her dog park today.
Okay.
Lots of attention. Thankfully, not too much attention. Unlike that last that we figured out. This is way off the geek talk. The owner of that dog does in fact leave his dog at the dog park and then run away into his car.
Oh my god.
And it's like, I'm just going to let my dog run loose and not give a shit. So, really poor fucking etiquette. Any of you guys have dogs, take them to dog parks, you stay near them like they're your goddamn children. Or I will hunt you down! I didn't hunt this particular man down because he was, aged and slightly crippled. And that would have been a faux pas on me. You don't hunt down... that's not true. You can probably hunt them down later. Usually when they're in politics, that's when you hunt them down. Okay. I'm probably digging myself some sort of hole that I'm not seeing.
Much like the dogs at the dog park. But yeah, just to gently segue this, like the dog that this man owned would just go straight up to other dogs and had no idea of personal space, would go straight to sniffing their butts. Even a larger dog that just kind of put up with it, like he hasn't been to Anime Club. He just sees a cute girl and says, "Oh, you like Dragon Ball? I've watched that once. Goku and the boys. That's good, right?" Like, just so awkward. Is so terribly awkward.
Ooh. Anyway, but no, it's I immediately sprayed him to get away and run off as we were leaving. So back to the track, on track, being there. So let's see. So yeah, no, it's the Kojima getting, talking to Xbox, possibly about making an exclusive game, PlayStation 5, doing a bunch of weird shit. One thing that they're doing that's really fucking weird, on top of all of this, they are remaking The Last of Us.
Yep.
And they're remaking The Last of Us, and then they canceled Days Gone 2. Which I'm not sure about Days Gone, as a series. I mean, it didn't sound like it was super great, but at the same time, they're focusing on, I think, the wrong parts of their franchise. Or, their franchises and stuff. It's not even focus. They're not focusing on anything new or anything exciting. IPs that would be really good. It's just a bunch of what do people like, and let's try and rehash that and see if that'll work.
Yep, and that's go ahead.
And it's not. I think it'd be better if it wasn't for the fact that it's Last of Us didn't come out too long ago.
The first Last of Us came out like 6 or 7 years ago, which in modern times isn't bad.
I don't think that counts for worthy of time to to remake it. I think there needs to be a lot more time that passes before you need to give something a remake. I mean, what was it? The original Crash Bandicoot series and whatnot came out 20 years ago.
Over 20, yeah. Because it was in the 90s. But yeah, no, I just looked it up. The original Last of Us was in 2013. So they've already done an HD remaster, and now they're going to remake it.
Yeah, you're beating the undead horse at the undead horse at this point.
Little did Naughty Dog realize when they named it The Last of Us, that would be the last franchise they'd ever work on.
But yeah. I also think it's there's a lot of other things that Sony could be pushing its developers to remake. Like one of the things I hugely I'm going to talk about is in the E3, the 20th anniversary of Ape Escape came and went, and there was no remake. There was little Pippo talk, of, oh, look, there's Pippos running around. Oh, it's 20th anniversary. But there was no remake, and I fucking love that game. It was one of the first games to actually use the dual Joy-Con, or the dual joysticks of the PlayStation, and actually, do well with using it. And it's being completely ignored. Like, they made a couple into, like, the PlayStation 2 era. I don't know if they were any good, but, the first game, I think, definitely deserves a remake. And it's not getting it. It's not getting it.
Yeah, no, like...
And I don't get it. I don't get what they're not getting.
It seems like, because especially with Sony's giant move from Japan to California, basically, it seems like they want video games to be Hollywood, and that means, much like with Hollywood and getting the quirky movies out of the way, they don't want any of that weird shit. They want everything to be fairly homogenous, because that way, if you see someone else's movie, you'll be familiar with theirs. There's no onboarding process, and really taking that creativity and that quirkiness out makes them more consistent, stable, and appealing to investors. So that's what it is. It's the damn capitalists ruining everything again. Like,
yay!
Like, because you watched the Sony presentation like 6 years ago, and that was the one where the dude famously said, we had games like Bib Ribbon, which didn't sell millions, but that wasn't the point. The point was that we brought you groundbreaking, interesting video games. And then everyone said, well, why isn't Bib Ribbon available? And to the guy's credit, they remastered Bib Ribbon and put it on the damn store.
Yeah. So I just think that's a bunch of interesting sort of like they could. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'm following a guy on Twitter who made a huge list of Sony. Why he gave a great list of a bunch of different games that Sony needs to remake that they're not pushing their developers to touch. I would go to Twitter and find it, but at the time, I want to try and keep going forward with the rest of my list of things to talk about. I think something that's really interesting and cool that they're doing right now with superheroes. If we're talking about things that are shitty, let's talk about something that's positive, something cool. Released recently a new trailer. So I don't know how familiar you are with DC's animated content.
I have been assured from you and from at least 2 other people that are not on the show currently that the DC animated movies, kind of like The Mandalorian with Star Wars, it's not the main content, but it's the good content.
Don't get me started with The Mandalorian and not being the main content. I mean, it's everything that went on with the prequels, or not the prequel, the sequel series. We're not getting started on that. We're going to positive notes. No, but yeah, just was it the last one that came out from this interesting, so the 2020 series, or 2020 and previous animated movies. They're not tied. There's like 2 different universes that are there. One that's tied to the Justice League Unlimited TV show. So you've got the ones that are from the ones that are tied to that, the Batman animated series, the Superman animated series. There are movies for that, and then there's another set of animated movies. Like there's like the one they've got a bunch of Teen Titan ones, a lot of Justice League ones, a lot of I think Batman and some other ones. They did like a John Constantine movie, and the last one that they made was called Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, which is, I think, a combination of Justice League Dark and Justice League War, and I'm not even sure if there's a Justice League Apocalypse, but it's a combination of those 3 things because it touches on all those movies into this very final, and I mean very final, because it's one of those spoilers ahead as I talk about this movie that came out, I want to say in 2020. During the pandemic, where it's the whole suicide mission, and not just like a small group of superheroes do a suicide mission. I mean, it's everybody, do or die. It's a very interesting sort of. Apocalypse took his parademons, his normal minions, and then souped them up to be what's his name? Doomsday. You familiar with DC's Doomsday villain?
Wasn't he in Batman v Superman for like a minute?
I guess technically that was supposed to be Doomsday, but it's supposed to be the whole this is the guy that kills Superman, right?
Yeah.
So Darkseid, the guy that rules Apocalypse, makes every single one of his foot soldiers into Doomsday. He makes 1,000 Doomsday soldiers, and they just tear the shit out of Earth and all its mightiest heroes. And then it's like 5 years later, Earth, everyone's like, okay, he beat the shit out of us last time. And he neutered Superman. What do we do now? And it goes into this suicide mission of get rid of Darkseid, free Earth, and in the end, the conclusion of it is no, we didn't save Earth. We're fucked. We got rid of Darkseid, but Earth is too badly damaged after 5 years of being ruled by him. It's going to die anyway. But we freed the Flash. So we're going to send him back in time to try and prevent it. And then in 2021, this is where I'm going with this. We get Justice Society World War II, where it's a whole new animated art style. First off, and one of the first things you'll see in the trailers, besides it's World War II, you got a bunch of these Justice Leaguers that are there. Doing their shtick, fighting Nazis and all that. You also have suddenly modern day Flash shows up, And I've not seen the movie. I've seen a bunch of trailers for it, and I'm fairly certain this is, this is the whole thing of this is a Flashpoint universe created by Flash as he runs into the past and changes things, and he changes them in World War II, I guess. I don't know. And that's where, and it goes with that, and then it goes the next movie that's coming out, also 2021 trailer, same art style as the Justice Society movie, is Batman: The Long Halloween, where it's it's resetting the whole thing, and I'm very interested in to see where this all goes, because like I've told you, and you were telling me, me and Adam have assured you they're really good movies, and with an hey. Tanner Caroline, thank you for the follow.
He's gonna take you back to the past to go to hit 1945 and kick ass.
Yeah, but no, it's a great series. It's a great. The original's a great series, and I want to see where the new one goes. And it's also it's listed as Batman: The Long Halloween Part 1, which is interesting. So it's gonna be it's a talk show and marbles, talk show and marbles.
Yeah. So I'm currently off screen because I don't have my stuff set up. I'm Cody. Hi, I'm the co-host. And then this over here is John Bosco, the actual host.
And I'm also currently running a marble game for some reason. Just simulating marbles until I can get people to... but let's see here. Yeah, so anyway, I'm excited for that. But also talking in superhero stuff, we've also got a bunch of other interesting superhero movies that have been coming out. Umbrella Academy did its 2 seasons on Netflix. And they just announced another weird... It's another one that kind of makes me feel like, they're repeating this sort of feeling I got with, Mystery Men and superhero... Was it Superhero High School or whatever? Where it's we got all these mainline, the DC and Marvel movies came out. We had, the Batman movies came out. And then after the Batman movies came out, we got, Mystery Men. And then we got... The Raimi series came out. And eventually we got the Superhero High School movie, where they're not spoofs so much as just they're movies that are latching on to the high of whatever the superhero writing field is.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
A little bit, yeah. Because once people see that something is successful, then it's easy. Because like we were talking about with games earlier, where games are becoming movies and becoming really homogenous and they're interchangeable. That's kind of what happens with any sort of high dollar trend. This happened with Twilight 2, where vampires get shoved into everything. Like, Twilight is this, let's make something more romantic. Let's make something darker and more dramatic. Let's make a comedy with vampires, right? So Batman, the first 2 anyway, with Michael Keaton being an exceptionally good Batman. They were dark, they were brooding, they stuck to the formula. Then you have the animated series, and then Joel Schumacher, to both his credit and dismay, radically altered the movie formula to be campier, to stand out. And then, obviously, okay, so Batman is a superhero. People like superheroes, but he's got the darkness market kind of cornered. So what can we do? Shit, Mystery Men, Spider-Man, let's have some fun, you know? Yeah, so it's people that are riding the wave but trying to put a new spin on it. That's like modern, well, not just modern radio, but radio throughout time. Like the pop station, that everyone's just kind of remixing something they've already heard, because that's what makes you the money, dude. Yeah.
Well, there's also people that it does also give people that have their own, I mentioned Umbrella Academy. That wasn't an original series. That was actually a comic book written by Gerard Way. Beforehand, but it's it also gives the people who have those smaller, they're not big DC comics or big Marvel comics, the chance to get their stuff out there, like Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass, Umbrella Academy. The new one that just came out that they just announced was called Jupiter's Legacy, which is a sort of what if what's it? What if this group of it's a very from what I can tell, it's they got powers from going to an island, and now it's been 20 years, and most of these people now have kids. And it's like, how do you pass on a superhero legacy to your children? And it's a very interesting sort of movie that I think is going to be one to watch. It's got that one guy from Justified. He was on Justified in Las Vegas.
Yeah, the guy that
one guy with the face that's white and also has regular looking hair. Let's just call him Kiefer Sutherland, just for shits and giggles. But that was the last thing I wanted to talk about. We've got some interesting stuff coming out, with superhero movies, and interesting to see Joss Whedon hopefully getting canceled, because fuck that guy. I wanted to talk about Spider-Man, but now I don't. I think we've talked.
How do I shot web?
Yeah, it's like Spider-Man apparently is going to be exclusive to Netflix or something like that. I'm not entirely versed on what it is, and I'm honestly like, it is what it is. Because I've got all the streaming services, because we don't have cable. It's like, fuck cable. We're going to just get all the streaming services and simulate cable.
By paying the exact same amount, except now you get to pick which show is on.
Exactly. It's we pay the same amount, we get to pick what show is on. What's the problem in that?
Yeah.
So the big thing I wanted to do for my very first stream, we've gone through the first half an hour. Now we're going into the main hour chunk of, we watched, it was the E3, it was either 2018 or 2019. Because everything that I saw that was before the, there's a bunch of stuff that's on here from an E3 thing, and then I hit all the Nintendo stuff, and it seems like this is all 2018 stuff and then 2019 stuff, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because we did it before you moved, but I don't remember exactly when you moved.
Mm.
But it doesn't matter, because anything that happened, more than a year ago was in what I would call the before time. Before
it was
our lives were radically altered.
Yeah,
because my perception of time is
it's looking at E3 as E3's coming out next, this year, 2021. Looking at past E3 with 2020 vision.
You're probably going to hell for that one.
I've got a lot of reasons I'm going to hell. It's called Four Freedoms, and thank you very much. Let's see. So I think there was the first thing that I've got on my docket here is the fact that Fallout 76 was announced to have its latest update back then of getting NPCs and bullshit, and I was just so over that bullshit because of the fact that I joined and there was supposed to be, I'm going to just cut myself off because I was very disappointed with Fallout 76. And then they're like, yeah, we're not going to make this like every other Fallout. And then at that point, they're like, okay, we're going to try and make it like every other Fallout and then some by adding in some Battle Royale garbage.
Quick, how do I join this marble game, John? What do I type?
Just type in ! Play. And your marble should pop up.
All right.
There you go. Fantastic.
Down.
Give it a little bit more time before we keep it before we hit the start. But so yeah, Fallout 76 disappoint. In before 2020, no word on Fable 4. As well as no Ape Escape remake, as I mentioned before. But Microsoft beats Sony in announcing a new sequel or remake of these two titles. Fable 4 was announced in 2020. Hopefully, it'll be very different from Fable 3 and 2, and maybe more like 2 and 1. But it was announced, so I'm excited to see where that goes. And as I've mentioned now 3 times before, no Ape Escape, Left 4 Dead, I think and in fact, actually, I think in the last few months they announced that the PSP market or whatnot is supposed to close down, and that's the last place that you'll actually be able to purchase a modern version of Ape Escape.
Yes. So a lot of PS1 titles are going to straight up vanish because the PlayStation Store for PS3, PSP, and PS Vita is getting shut down later this year. And once that store gets shut down, there are certain titles, especially like the PlayStation ones, including Ape Escape, but also the legendary Suikoden and Suikoden 2, they can't be purchased after the store shuts down. And that's part of what's really hurt Sony's standing, is that Microsoft is really putting a lot of effort into backwards compatibility. Whereas Sony's like, why would you want to play this old game? Like, literally, their CEO is going like, why would you want to play Gran Turismo 2? It's old and it looks bad. Like, no, you don't get it. You don't get it. You're done. You're tired. You're old. You stink. You're out of touch. You're out of time.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of out of time, delayed again is Halo 6 Infinite. Halo Infinite. Is it Halo? I always think it should be 6. Halo, because it's Halo Infinite. It's like the 6th one in the series. Like, you've got 1, 2, 3, ODST, 4, Reach, 5 came out with 5. Technically, it's 5 Guardians or something like that.
Yeah, so, John, calling the next Halo Halo 6 is like assuming that the last Kingdom Hearts game was really Kingdom Hearts 3.
Hey, Tetra Cat, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid of 1. I will take anything. I am also doing marbles, as I stole from you. I mean, I saw them playing this, and it looked like fun just to like sit, talk, and just have this going. If you guys wanted to join my weird little marbles, exclamation point play, your marble will show up, and you can race Cody and I as we talk about bullshit from last E3. Or not even last E3, but
I really like the marble thing, because, like, when was the last time you went to a live baseball game, John?
I was in... Hey, how you doing there, Kat? Yes!
Let's go!
The last time I was actually in a live baseball game, I was probably back when I was in Idaho. Because I went to a live college... It wasn't even like... No, it wasn't even college. It was like... So it's like, you know how are you familiar with the fact that there's like professional and then there's like AAA ball and AA? It's like there's lower brackets of baseball. And I went to one of the lower brackets that was out there. It was a very fun time. I think I'm just going to start. All right. But yeah, no, that was the last time I really did that. Before, but I've also been like watching baseball on like MLB Live, and
yeah. So baseball on TV, I really can't stand. It's not my thing. But going in person, they have mini games and stuff going on the screens. They got someone live playing the organ. Like,
which hydroplane's gonna get there first? Follow the baseball cap. Which one's got the baseball underneath it? Sort of.
But yeah, like I went to baseball like probably 4-5 years ago at this point, and like being there in person and having like all the extra stuff going on, and like marble races like this happened at Emerald Downs too, the horse racing thing. You know, this adds so much like depth and interest as opposed to like what a radio show would be, right? Mm-hmm. Like, because I mean, your face is beautiful, but this is what really this gets the eyeballs.
My face is beautiful, but marbles are better. Your face is good, marbles are better.
I'll have you know, I'm not actually left marbled.
I'm not left marbled. All right. So yeah, no. But yeah, it was recently announced that it was going to be delayed again, and that Halo Infinite was going to be delayed again. So it's like, is it going to be Halo Infinite delayed infinitely?
Dude,
I hope not.
Never name your game after a span of time. Just don't. Because look at what happens to Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh, man. Yeah, and I won the race. And let's see. Outriders actually has come out. I'm not sure it's fully out or if it's... if anyone's actually... if you guys have touched on Outriders before. But when I saw it at first, it looked like Mad Max meets D&D. And... I think I've seen some gameplay of it and some reviews, and that seems pretty much the same. That Mad Max meets D&D. It's a very much shoulder. You took Gears of War and then gave it some magic, and it looks interesting. It really does, but it's got some issues, like from what I've heard. Nothing too huge though. It's got like some people have voted like a 6 out of 10 or 7 out of 10. But it's not a bad game. Square Enix has made a lot of really shitty ones recently. Of like if they fuck something up really badly PR wise. There is no war embossing, say. Let's see. Tom Clancy's Elite Squad was announced back in the day. And looking at it now, from this point of view, first off, the game's not out yet, but I still think Sam Fisher should not be in a fucking mobile game, let alone a strategy game. What the fuck's that about?
Well, what it's about, my friend, is that Tom Clancy has been dead for many years now. So
that's something I remember now. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, so like his name is no longer a seal of quality. He is no longer acting as the lone hero holding back the waves of corporate influence. No, they just keep using the name, and then like it's like Pyramid Head. Like Pyramid Head has no reason to exist in any Silent Hill other than 2. But they're gonna keep bringing him up because everybody loves Pyramid Head. They gotta keep putting him in, man. So Sam Fisher is officially becoming Tom Clancy's Pyramid Head.
Oof. Yeah. I still don't think it shouldn't be in a goddamn strategy game, though. I mean, I wish there was someone else I could just pull this shit from, but you're right. Sam Fisher is his big title, and they're not going to do a stealth game for him because no one wants to take on Metal... Well, I think that's actually a thing that I wanted... That's going back to the Kojima thing. Now that Kojima isn't with Konami... Metal Gear is no longer a threat when it comes to stealth games, and that's a huge thing, I think, for the guys that make Tom Clancy and the guys that make Hitman. That who is the big name in stealth anymore? Square Enix, for some reason, is because they're the guys that make Hitman, right?
Yeah. Unironically, I think Hitman is probably the best stealth game that we've gotten in a while and will get for a while because the Thief reboot was terrible and it crashed, and my girlfriend is very, very sad because she's a big fan of Thief, and the 4th was god-awful. Solid Snake obviously isn't doing anything with Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, the last Metal Gear Survive was Metal Gear shit, from everything I've been told. And then in the in-between period from like the classic period with old Thief and old Hitman and old Metal Gear Solid, basically the early 2010s, it was the dude from Dishonored and Batman. Like those were your options. Yep. Because the Arkham games were pretty good.
Ooh, there is one I'm going to pull from further down my list because I'm seeing it now. That can kind of count as a stealth game. It's definitely depending on how you play it. That is Watchdogs Legion, and I was very excited to get my hands on it because I loved the second one. First one I didn't play a whole lot of. I played a little bit, but I didn't play a whole lot. Watch Dogs 2 was a lot of fun for me. Legion seemed very interesting, and I've looked at it, and it was one of those things of, I thought getting anybody and making them a controllable character as a part of your legion of characters would be awesome. I love the idea of also the expanded drones you could play with that, and it looks like those are good aspects, but at the same time, they completely drop the ball on making you feel like an actual character. There is nothing in there that makes you feel like. I mean, it's because of the fact that you. I think there was a lot of worry of if you took something like Grand Theft Auto 5 and you took your main character and made it into 3, that you're going to lose focus. But there was plenty of good focus and good writing for 3 main characters. Now, doing this with the new Legion, however, and splitting it between 1,000 characters, you just poured water into your moonshine and diluted it and diluted it and diluted it to the fact that it's like everyone's got the same 6 voice actors voicing their lines, or they're adjusting it slightly with auto-tune to make it sound different, but the lines are all the same. There's no writing or personal feel for any character. Most of the time when you're getting these people, it sounds like it's you do a mission for them of, I need you to go make sure my friend's okay. You can literally fast travel to the friend, fast travel back, done. There's no personal feeling to it. It feels so robotic almost, which is funny for a game that's trying to promote, people over, robotic safety.
Yeah, I think it speaks to how, like, procedural worlds versus handcrafted ones, and the sense of like your level of investment goes down intrinsically because not only are you helping more people, but they are less deep and you can't care about them as much. You literally can't. So if you look at the really, really old school, like Elder Scrolls, right?
Yeah.
Daggerfall was procedurally generated. Like the map, the quests, every town. So, and that was like really ambitious for its time, and still really, really long game. Whereas with Morrowind, the third one, they made everything handcrafted, and they haven't changed back to procedural generation because. Oh, did you fall out?
Nope, I'm fine.
Oh, okay. No, I mean like the marble. I thought your marble fell
out.
No.
My marble's fine. Tantrix actually fell out.
Give me the yeet, boys. Give me the yeet, boys, and free my soul. But yeah, no, like I think in trying to make it diverse, they've made it less human because each of them feels less like a human being.
Right. Well, and that was all. It's also the thing of you can't. I think the one thing that was interesting with it is the fact you couldn't complete the game with a single person. There's no everyman. Every person was slightly different. Like you'd have some people that were construction workers, some people who actually worked in the private security group that you're trying to fight, so they could be great stealth operatives. And that part was interesting. But the fact that they didn't give anybody any personal feeling. Is what really like kills it, because it was like there's some good ideas with separating it into 1,000 people, and if you could have found a way to make it more personable, that would have been what really sold it, I think. Yeah. So going back up on my list, yeah,
I would really love one day to talk about like characterization, because like if you remember the old Blizzard game, The Lost Vikings, back before they made Warcraft or anything, big and successful.
Yeah, like, I remember playing a little bit of that. It was shit at it, but I remember playing it. But each one was you had the different abilities. One was the fast guy, one had the shield. I can't remember what the other guy had.
I think one was fast, one had the shield, and one could jump. Like, that was the thing.
Right.
But, because they each had their own ability, they also each had their own personality, and that made them distinct. Whereas with Watchdogs 2, well, you can grab any construction worker off the street, and then it's up to you, like as if you were playing The Sims. Now, all of a sudden, Jim the construction worker is your responsibility, and you have to give him whatever you feel is in your, whatever you feel is important from your imagination to flesh him out.
Mm-hmm.
And like in a game like The Sims or a game like the Animal Crossing, the entire onus is on you to build the world, and that's the expectation people go in with. Whereas with Watch Dogs, it's more quote-unquote cinematic, so you have a consumer base that are generally consumers as opposed to creators. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it feels soulless because they tried to co-opt the same mechanics from The Sims or from Animal Crossing, but without actually having that audience or those assumptions built into the game. Now, like, if you could customize them, right? If you could hack Jim and then take Jim into, like, Forever 21 or its equivalent, then, like, you could actually, like, people would attach themselves to Jim emotionally and make him part of their story. But I don't think that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of, they did a thing recently. Let's see, Wasteland 3 came out. It was announced back in the day, Wasteland 2, and that looked interesting for me. Just because Wasteland 1 and Wasteland 1 was remade. Wasteland 2 was then made as in its new sort of, being like, okay, well, people like the Fallout series. Let's remake Wasteland and let's do a Kickstarter for Wasteland 2. And it went over really well. And now Wasteland 3 has come out in a far more snowy environment. And it also announced that it was going to be doing an interesting sort of like online co-op where you could play your own a separate character. And the idea is that there are two main characters of this, the Rangers team that comes out to this area. Everyone but two get wiped out, and these are the two main characters. And they're a little bland in comparison to everyone else, but everything else in this whole game is just so off the fucking top. It combines that good XCOM combat that in the tactical strategy game, but it combines it with the same, wacky wasteland stuff that you'd get from, like, the original Fallout series. And again, he splits it up into these two characters who are still lifeless. And it's like you can easily find ways of making them, full of life, I think. But it does, I think it's more important for this game of taking these characters and the decisions they make. It sounds like it's very much the decisions you make are what really what changes the game up. Because it's like it's one of the things that I really liked when I was listening to it. A lot of these games that are like, this game has consequences, you're going to be worried about it, is that you will make a decision and then 10 seconds later you'll see the effects of your decision. And if you don't like it, you are backtracking to the last save that you had, and I'm going to fix it. Where in Wasteland 3, you make that decision. 3 hours later, you will see what the decision has wrought. And you're likely way past any autosave to fix it.
Yep. Yeah, because Wasteland 3 was made in part by the people who made the original Wasteland for DOS before Fallout, years before Fallout. So they have that old school mentality. I saw a bit of that with Shadowrun Returns, where they would allude to things, and you're never told which of your dialogue choices matter. But what I found out is, in one of the missions I did, it's possible to talk someone down from their drug-fueled craze, but you had to have talked to their sister properly at the rebel base, like, hours before, to have the right thing to say to him to calm him down. And it's like, well, that didn't happen. Guess you're dead.
Yeah, I never beat Shadowrun's Returns. I got to the near end section of it where you're, spoilers, fighting the bug people that have turned, were humans that have evolved. I don't know. It was weird. And, it definitely seemed like a game that I want to probably try getting back into if I could just get my head wrapped around Shadowrun's mechanics. But it's definitely looks like it's Fallout Wasteland 3 is coming in, and it looks really good. It sounds like it plays really well, and I think it'll definitely be a contender for what is the best wacky wasteland. Because right now Fallout has the title because it's the only one that's really there. There's other ones that are out there that are less, they're less exciting and shit.
Basically, like, if you want a wacky wasteland, your options are Borderlands, Rage, Fallout, and Oddworld Stranger's Wrath.
Right. Rage sucks. Borderlands 3 sucked. What was the last? What was what you mentioned?
Oddworld Stranger's Wrath.
Oddworld hasn't really had a lot come out for it, has it? Like, it's getting a remake fairly soon, but...
Yeah, Stranger's Wrath was like the space western one. The original Oddworld got remade, and it's like a puzzle game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Lemmings. But yeah, no, like, Oddworld is very odd. It's not quite accessible. Like, just like first glance, the art is weird. Oh shit, shortcut. That was cool. I saw Catnip's marble jump.
Yep. No, I'm very excited to see where Wasteland goes, because it's kind of taking... I mean, Fallout was very, very, very inspired by Wasteland. So the fact that Wasteland's kind of taking it back... Oh! Taking back some of its reputation... taking back some of its reputation, hopefully it will be recognized for its, it just fell. So yeah, I'm hoping that it'll be recognized for its work that it did before being huge. Or before Fallout got huge, because it did. It was a very good game, and now it's getting. I think it's hopefully going to get the recognition it deserves.
Yeah.
I don't know why I put Lego Star Wars on here, the Skywalker Saga, because I mean there's still it's mentioned it's going to be a Lego Star Wars game, but not much else. There's no talk on whether it's going to be, is it something? Is there going to be something any new? I don't think it'd be any sort of tie-in.
Nah.
And then, of course, 2 days ago, it got massively delayed again. So it's a Lego Star Wars game. I wish I could play it with my wife, but it will probably not happen. Not to mention, I'm not sure I'd want to play the mess that is Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. And that is all I will mention of Star Wars before I jump off the train and get myself hurt.
You're not discussing space wizards in this house today?
Nope. Gods and Monsters Phoenix Rising. Did you see that one?
I have not.
So it's essentially, and I think this one there might have been some conflict with another game that came out, but it's essentially Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but Greek myths. And so you're playing this immortal warrior called Phoenix, and she is. It seems fairly interesting. When I saw it, I definitely was like, this looks like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but Greek. And yes, I was dead on the money with that. All the monsters that you fight are all based on myths. They all are. You're talking to all the gods. You've got Hermes showing up, Ares, not Persephone, Aphrodite, Zeus, and what's his name? The guy that gets his liver eaten every day by the same vultures or some shit.
Oh God!
He's not a god, but he's a titan.
Fire. Prometheus.
Prometheus. There we go. Prometheus is in this one. He's apparently the narrator, and he's narrating her story to Zeus, and like, this is why I need to be released. And it seems like the dialogue and combat are fun. They're not difficult, but they're definitely fun. And it seems like a fun game. And I wonder if it maybe had some conflict in it becoming big because Genshin Impact is the same thing except anime. It's Breath of the Wild, but anime.
Yeah, like we have brand new video game paradigms, including the Dark Souls,
is it a Souls like Souls like the Breath of the Wild, the Battle Royale? Well, and it's like the Breath of the Wild isn't even like it's just an open world not even survival game, because it's not a you need to eat. It's just a eating provides buffs. So that came out, and I think it looked fun. Not something I think I'd get into because I played Breath of the Wild and that took forever, and I don't have that kind of time. I've got so many other games to play. I still haven't touched other games that are on this list that I own. Let's see. Roller Champions was I listed this one as roller derby but extra. And after looking at some gameplay footage, it's like, yeah, it's pretty close. It's Rocket League, but on roller skates.
Ooh,
nice. And it's out for beta right now. It looks interesting. But yeah, it's roller derby. It's roller derby Rocket League. So I think it might. I feel it could be pretty popular on a esports league sort of level, where it gets, it'll get popular and get used as a sort of like an esports game. I'm hoping, because that'd be fun to watch, fun to play, even as an amateur. Because I haven't played any good sports games because most of them are produced by EA Sports and are thus recycled garbage. So that's Roller Derby, Roller Champions, produced by Ubisoft. I think it's going to be interesting to try. Battletoads was announced in 2019, 2018 time-ish. And my first thoughts was, now GameStop can say yes. Yes, they do have Battletoads. Thank you, Rare.
Yeah.
And then I played it, and I realized now why they didn't make it, why they never actually really remade it. God damn, was the combat frustrating. The speeder level sucked. I literally only played the first act of the game because I'm a cosmetic whore and I was playing Sea of Thieves at the time. And if you beat the first act of the game, you got Battletoads cosmetics that looked really cool. And so I was like, yes, this is why I'm playing the game. This is the only reason why I'm playing the game. I'm done with it now. I'm leaving it forever.
Yeah, no, Battletoads did not go over well, but there are still good beat-em-ups coming out, like Streets of Rage 4,
yep,
which
I've heard that one.
Yes, and by that exact same team, soon coming out, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
Ooh, I remember playing. Was it the Sega or the? There was a console version of the arcade game that you could play.
Yeah, the Super Nintendo version of Turtles in Time, where you could throw the bad guys into the screen. Yes.
Oh, my wife is on the way home. Do exclamation play, and you can play marbles with us. But yeah, so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out. It's being made by the same guys that do Streets of Rage 4.
Yep, and so Turtles in Time was remade like 8 or so years ago, and it was like remade in 3D, but they took away the ability to throw people into the screen, which is what everyone remembers. Well, in Shredder's Revenge, you can do that shit again. It looks just like the Super Nintendo game. They use pixel art on purpose. Nice. Yes, it hits me right in the feels.
Right in the nostalgia feels. Very cool. All right, so don't buy Battletoads, buy Turtles.
Yes, Shredder's Revenge.
Shredder's Revenge. This is what I need to ask you, because I didn't play the first one and you hate me for it. And this is the thing. I think this is the game that I tell everyone that I've never played, and everyone who loves it hates me all of a sudden. Psychonauts announced Psychonauts 2 a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I never played the first one, and I literally have on here, I need to ask Cody because I never played it.
Okay, Psychonauts is a mascot platformer.
Right.
It's basically in the same realm as Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah.
You travel a wacky world, you collect collectibles, and get power-ups, which let you collect more collectibles. The thing about Psychonauts is that you are at like a summer camp for psychic children, and you enter people's brains, and each brain is its own wacky world.
Right, and from what I've seen with this, have you seen the second one, or the trailer for the second one yet?
I probably did, but it's been a while. Like, I'm not big into Psychonauts. I had a friend who was, and so I bought the first one and I played it and I beat a world or two. I'm like, okay, this is.
So you're the wrong person to ask. You're just the only other person I could have asked.
Sorry, mate.
Well, in Psychonauts 2, it looks like you're supposed to be doing something where you've graduated from that camp and you're now some sort of like detective psychic, and you're going into the minds of the equivalent of the Beatles and doing some sort of mission there. And so that looked kind of interesting. It's very much going to have a lot of Beatles-esque art, which is already psychedelic.
Yep.
So if I get into Psychonauts, then I have to get into Psychonauts 2. We'll see how that goes. Platformers are fun for me. But speaking of fun for me, Vampire the Masquerade 2 was announced or given more further stuff late in the past. First thoughts were set in Seattle. I was very excited for that because we're in that area. Interested in trying after what I heard about the first game. Actually, after watching the second game's trailer, I actually did play the first game a bit and also tested out, World of Darkness series of controls and whatnot. It was interesting for me to play. Very much once you get into those more bullet spongy sort of bad guy fights, you're very much on the back foot of run away, or that could have just been me getting my shit kicked in.
Yeah, everyone I've heard, because Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is one of those ones that was really, really popular on the niche internet circles which I tend to occupy. Mm-hmm. And it, much like Planescape Torment and Deus Ex, got heaps and heaps and heaps of praise for its depth and its role-playing and the versatility you're allowed and the autonomy you're allowed as a player character to explore that world and interact with things. But as they were made 20 years ago, where you are also required to engage in violence, yeah, the combat mechanics and all those really haven't, survived. Well, they haven't... They're aged. They're aged quite poorly. Mm-hmm. So everything I've heard about Vampire's role-playing is great. And, yeah.
All right. So hopefully it'll be better, though, because it's not steeped in, the 1990s, 2000s combat mechanics. Now it should be more refined. And I think that's also a big thing when it comes, for me, of some of the issues with playing retro games. And I thought I could do more retro games because I've got the consoles, but I'm just shit at a lot of retro games because of the fact that they're, it wasn't perfected. The art of creating games and making good combat wasn't there yet. So let's see. Vampire the Masquerade, Shenmue 3. This is one that I think actually is very relevant to that whole to what we were just talking about, where it's Shenmue 3 has been in the waiting for a long time. I remember playing the first one on Dreamcast when I picked up a Dreamcast console and played Shenmue and thought it was a very interesting, fun game. And it was very difficult combat, but it sounds like this is one of those things of they made the remake and they didn't make the game in a modern sense. They made it with the past in mind, and they did not update. They didn't make it nice. It was not made in a next gen setting. They made it very much like they would make an older game, and it was visually there. It was visually, it seemed. I don't know if I'm coming across right. it did not come off like a next-gen game. It came off like a retro game, and that did not go over well with people because they wanted a new game, and instead they just purchased a newer game that looks like an older, less efficient game. I think is where I'm going with that.
Yeah, so
it would have been great in 1990 or 2000s, but in 2020 that shit doesn't fly.
Yeah, because tastes change, and what's important about like remakes and remasters is that like there's no one perfect way to do it, and every audience is going to be different.
Yeah.
So just like when you adapt a book to a movie, it's all about what you think is going to work best for the medium, not what the audience thinks it wants, but what you think is going to work. Which is why, certain adaptations from book to film, like even if they're not 100% accurate, you understand why it happened. Like this is my first ever nerd rage moment, John. Okay, so
are you sure?
So yes, because I remember this distinctly. So the Super Mario Brothers movie, I was very, very young, and I forgave that. It's nothing like the games at all, but I was young and I forgave it. But I did not forgive Lord of the Rings, because when Frodo gets poisoned, he is saved by an elf and then taken to Elfland where they form the Fellowship, right? So, for 20 trivia points, what's the name of the elf in the book that saves Frodo after he's poisoned?
Isn't the guy that cures him, isn't that Elrond?
No, Elrond is at Elfland.
Right, that's the one who cures him of his poison, though.
But but who finds them in the woods? Who finds them in the woods and gets them to Elfland?
Oh, it's whatever. What's her name's is the.
So, Arwen
Liv Tyler's character.
Arwen finds them in the Peter Jackson film.
Right.
Legolas finds them in the old 70s animated film. In the book, it's an elf that shows up for just this occasion and never again. Their name is Glorfindel. Don't ask me why I remember this. Don't ask me why it's stuck in my brain so damn hard. But when I went to the movie and I saw it wasn't Glorfindel, a name I worked so hard to remember.
Well, then I'm sure that you're real upset about Tom Bombadil too, weren't you?
I was.
No, I was glad Tom Bombadil was gone. That was just 3 chapters of what the hell is going on. But
I've got people. Yeah, Lauren's back.
Hey,
we were just talking about. Apparently, Cody's first nerd rage was the fact that the elf that had freed or that had found, the Fellowship and brought them to Rivendell was not
Arwen.
Arwen. Not in the books.
But it was a dude elf, and there were like no lady elves in almost all of Lord of the Rings. There are no ladies. Man, I'll bet you $100 a book series is not best. There's no hobbits. No women in the Hobbit at all. Yeah, I like Glorfindel.
Cool. We can look at. We can
see my Petco unboxing.
Well, I've got only about 15 more minutes, hon, and then we can go over the unboxing. I appreciate it though. It looks like you got a lot of cool stuff for the dogs. Ariel's absence is clearly noted by Porter, but at the same time, he's like, "What have you got?" And also, where's my sister? What have you got? And where's my sister? Still got lots. Yeah, I've still got a lot of.
I won't.
Love you, hon.
What do you got left?
I haven't actually made it past page. I've got 4 pages of this shit, and I haven't passed page 2 yet. We got this shit.
We're going fast. We are schmoving.
Oh yeah.
I tried to listen, but my phone did not want to be.
Yeah. Well, and we use this. So there's Planet Zoo. Now, Lauren and we actually played Planet Coaster together. Now, tell me, do you want to play Planet Coaster, but instead with a zoo?
Not really. I pick up enough shit in life, but I don't want to pick it up in a game.
But we love the coaster game together. We pretty much beat every single thing except for like the last few challenges, which were just insane. I'm surprised, how far we got, or just how difficult it got in the end. Evil Genius 2 came out recently, actually. It was announced in the day and recently came out. And it's a very fun game of, do you want to be a James Bond villain?
Do you want to be a villain?
And it feels a lot like, if you ever played that one, Rest in Peace, Mastermind, the Flash game.
I have not.
Yeah, Mastermind was a great Flash game of, it's a similar sort of, modern villain of, I'm going to destroy the world, and they got a really nice voice actor to play the villain that your character is, and you can hire a series of henchmen to carry out schemes, and protect your main base. And it feels a little bit like that, but you've got more freedom on also doing the building your base part of the game. And they recently came out with Evil Genius 2. It does look like it's got a lot more voice acting involved in it, because I've seen one of my favorite streamers or YouTubers that plays more slow strategy games was Angry Tom, and there's a lot of interesting sort of your villain talks to the minions and figures out what he needs to do next moments, whereas last time it was more like told at you. But I guess that's not a huge critique. It's just it seems just as fun as the last one. There's been some minor changes that make things look more interesting. But all in all, it looks like just an updated version of the last game, which is all I can really ask of a sequel. Is you take the first game, you make it better.
Yeah.
Making it to page 3! Dragon Ball Z Kakarot was announced. And I had no idea what they were going to do, because of the fact that they had already come out with Dragon Ball Fighters. And it's like, is it going to be like Fighters? Is it going to be like Xenoverse? Is it going to be like Budokai? And it turns out it is actually a lot more like Xenoverse, where you've got this sort of story-based, float around, fight, single button combos that you can pull off. And the combat seems fine. The story itself is a little slow, and it does not help that you are covering all of the story. The entirety of Goku's, Goku and Gohan in the Dragon Ball Z anime is covered in the game, as well as some weird I think the thing that was really critiqued about it that I think I really hate is when it's like, hey, you need to do a quick side quest for me of do this delivery mission, go find my cousin, go do menial tasks for me, super Saiyan alien.
Go feed my duck. Go to the PetSmart and get duck feed for my duck.
I get duck feed from the refrigerator like everyone else.
So yeah, that was just most of it seemed fine, but there was just a lot of weird little tiny things that just didn't fly. But the rest of it flew because Super Saiyans fly. But I'm interested in seeing if they do anything else like that, because it does cover some extra ground. But I think it didn't actually do. There were certain lines that you expected to happen that just never showed up. I wish I could have been given more a precise example, but unfortunately I don't. But moving on, let's see. Cyberpunk 2077. I mean, it looked cool. It looked amazing. It had John Wick on the cover and, playing a part in it. It sounds like, besides the massive bug fiasco that it went through when it came out, all in all, Cyberpunk came out all right.
Yeah.
Besides the bugs, all the story elements of it were pretty good. I don't think I heard anyone complain about the writing. It was just the fact that they released a game that was not yet. Everything was still like falling apart.
Yeah, that's basically how it went. When I was helping with the Video Game Awards, like it won several awards for like biggest technical blunder, but it didn't win. It didn't. I don't even think it got nominated for worst writing. Like it's still by the people that made The Witcher 3. It's a highly competent game, except it's way too ambitious and it's held together with like duct tape and bubble gum.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I saw a speed run of Cyberpunk, and basically like the way it loads assets is it deloads things that you're not looking at. So this dude was just spinning around in place going, give me a car, give me a car, give me a car. And so like one time he spins around, he sees a truck. He spins 360 degrees, and that truck became a very fast car.
Fun.
Yeah, because the game deloaded the truck because it wasn't looking at it, and then he looks back over, and the game's like, oh shit, there was a car here. What is it? Speed racer. Boom.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, it also does a lot of stuff that people are expecting. People were expecting a lot more of it to be less like The Witcher, I think, and more like GTA, but fancy. No, they were expecting GTA, except in Cyberpunk. And I watched like a comparison of Cyberpunk and GTA, and there's a lot of these interesting things that GTA does when it comes down to simulation that Cyberpunk doesn't, and it's not it's. I think just putting it down then and there, being like Cyberpunk is not a simulation. Not like GTA is. It's not a sandbox as much as it is just an RPG.
Yep. Yeah, I think a lot of the technology that GTA has just gets lost in the people don't recognize how technically impressive GTA is as a series.
Yeah. Like, I want to say, like, one of my favorite things that I saw somebody do was the fact you can break individual windows, destroy individual, like, tires and whatnot. There was, I swear, I think Matt Pat did a video ages ago where he was trying to test whether or not, police departments in different parts of the GTA 5, like, map, different police departments will respond differently to your character based on their race. And that's like that seems like such an interesting, weird sort of like thing to tie in and include, but it's mostly, it's not even with the online stuff though. It would be more for your character in, like, you've got the three main characters that are, two Caucasian dudes and one black guy. What else was announced? Outer Worlds was announced, and I think my first impressions, I was super interested because it was Obsidian. They made fucking New Vegas. It's going to be super sci-fi. Have my money. It looks like a good Fallout in space. And then everyone said the same thing I said. And I think I got panicked. And I got snow crashed. Because everyone, it's a long story short. My wife was told by thousands of people, read the book Snow Crash. Yep. And because it was so many overwhelming people said this is the greatest book, you have to read it, you have to read it. They got overwhelmed and were like, I'm not going to, because you've told me it's good. I'll just expect it to be good, and I'm not going to, ruin that for myself, I guess, or fuck it up by reading it and not considering it that way. And just everyone told me Outer Worlds is going to be great. It's great. It's like, it's Obsidian, so it's good. And I'm just like, I don't know. I just was not. I played it and I never finished it. I never got very far in it. I don't think I got past the first world, and that was it. And now I feel ashamed by it, and I need to play You know, like I said earlier, I got a couple games on here, and that was Cyberpunk and Outer Worlds that I need to play in order to, you know, because I just feel like I've got this weight of, oh no, I'm a bad nerd.
Earn my gamer card. I gotta earn my gamer card.
Yeah. Well, I also felt the same way. I'm going to skip a bunch of ones on this one. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Or Star Wars Jedi Knight Fallen Order. Yeah, no, it looks like the Jedi Knight games once again, but better. Take my money. And yes, I actually did manage to finally get this game and play a bunch of it so far. And it's not entirely my cup of tea, because it does have a little bit of that sort of hack and slash and dodge thing from the Souls. It's got a little tiny bit of the Souls thing, and it just, my nerd rage moment about that, if we're going back to your nerd rage about Lord of the Rings, mine is, why isn't the lightsaber as lethal as it would be in the Jedi Knight games? In the Jedi Knight games, your lightsaber, 1 or 2 strokes from that, and near anybody else is dead.
Yep. And
in this game, it's a club. It's far less of a lethal, you know, cutting weapon that goes through solid steel. And there's a number of times where I'm like, if I have a lightsaber, this should not be an obstacle for me. If I have a lightsaber, I should be cleaving these guys in two, you know.
Yeah. And the way, like, the tabletop game handles that is that every character has very low health but very high vitality, which is essentially plot armor.
Oh, that's the older one, I'm afraid. There's newer ones that came out, but yeah, the tabletop that we played together back in the day, the RPG D20 rather than Edge of the Universe or Edge of Galaxy or whatever, dealt with it where, and it's not even like, that's also the fact that you're dealing with blaster weapons and other like super like lethal weaponry, is the fact that you're not dealing with somebody's actual health. You're dealing with their luck. Honestly, yeah. This isn't the characters, you know. You're dealing with their luck, their ability to dodge and be quick and be, you know, get out of the way. So let's see. I skipped a couple things. I've got only a couple minutes left before I've got to.
All right, real quick.
Okay.
I have a friend of mine that mentioned this in another Discord, and I thought I'd ask because you're here. You're the only person I know who is a fan of the television show Firefly. So they're trying to figure out what culture / aspect of culture the companion tradition is based on. And apparently, like, I have no context for Firefly except that it's a bug in the Princess and the Frog. But in the Firefly universe, there are things called companions, and apparently, like, the common assumption is it's geisha, but there's a really angry LiveJournal post that compares it to some other kind of tradition. So, do you remember this companion thing, and do you have? Yeah,
companions were usually like legal prostitutes. Legal prostitution, sort of a thing of, you know, you get they are, but it's also like it's not just that that you're a prostitute that's legal to do, but there's a whole other level of that goes into it that is the idea, the word companion, of not only are you somebody's sexual companion, but you are also an emotional companion and a social companion. You are, you know, it is a sign of prestige that you are chosen by a companion as a client, because companions, you know, choose who they go to be with. And it doesn't even have to be sex. It can easily just be a, you know, hey, you want to hang out and watch, you know, Netflix and chill?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you know, this is of course very weird to talk about when I'm like, Joss Whedon's canceled. Yeah, fuck that. But also, let's talk about Joss Whedon's thing that he made.
There we go. I'll just say, Buddy agrees that companions are basically high-ranking prostitutes. Thumbs up.
What it's there? That is a part of it, but it also has a part of it being, they are, they are more than just that. They can also be,
Yeah, they're not necessarily inherently sexual, but the assumption that my friend was going off of was geisha, which are more entertainers than they are emotional companions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because to be a geisha, you don't necessarily have to interact with your clients and perform the emotional labor that a prostitute would, or I guess a companion would.
Yeah, no, there is a lot emotional labor. It definitely would be the thing that I think I would tie companions to. Let's see. I've got a few minutes left. Did you want to talk at all about Bleeding Edge, Minecraft Dungeons, Death Stranding, Baldur's Gate 3, Age of Empires 2, any of the Nintendo Direct? I think I'll talk... Oh, wait, no. The one thing I want to mention about the Nintendo Direct, because this was the introduction of... We said goodbye to... What was this guy? What was the name of the guy? The last CEO.
Oh, Reggie Fils-Aimé.
We said goodbye to Reggie and introduced Doug Bowser. Did they literally find the guy and we're like, is it the idea of we're going to train an astronaut to mine, or are we going to train a miner to be an astronaut? We found somebody with the last name Bowser and turned him into a CEO, or we took a CEO and said your last name is now Bowser. That's one thing I thought was really interesting, because this was his first one that he did, I think. Let's see, Nintendo Direct. Other stuff I wanted to talk about was Dragon Quest. The Dragon Quest hero got added to Super Smash. Any issues with that? I don't know. You were the one that played Smash, near competitively last I knew. And I'm not sure if
competitively. Please, I have a medal, John. So, I love the medal. The medal is shorthand for, yes, I have a degree in Super Smash Brothers. I'm extremely qualified to say whatever I'm about to say.
Right, which is why I'm asking you, because I know, unlike Psychonauts, I know for a fact you play Smash. Does the Dragon Quest hero fuck up anything?
I do not have a medal for Psychonauts, no. The Dragon Quest hero...
Gotta state that ahead of time.
He is another sword user, and people are getting sick of sword users, and that's understandable. But what caused a lot of controversy for Hero is that his down B can summon one of up to, I think, 20 different magic spells, and some of them are overpowered, some of them are useless, and a lot of them are unfair. Like, just Borderlines, he has ones that can kill you at really low percents. He has some that he can hold on to, and because one of the big issues is, okay, the overpowered spells are balanced by the fact that you get to choose from 4 random ones out of a pool of 20. But let's say he smacks you off screen and you're trying to come back, then he can cancel the menu, re-roll, cancel the menu, re-roll, and get a higher chance of getting something that's really going to whip your butt. So that's issue number 1. Issue number 2 is why they considered banning Hero from tournaments is not because of these overpowered abilities, but also because the menu is in one language at a time, right? So if you have Japanese players coming to a Western country, or if you have Western players going to Japan, or, there's a lot of Hispanic players that play Smash, they are not going to know what that menu is if it's not a language they understand. Whereas if you're playing like Marth, okay, he has all these moves. He swings his sword.
You can't put down each individual hero has this language attached. If the entire game is going to be in English, then everything, including that menu, is going to be in English. Whereas if it's in Japanese, the entire game is in Japanese, that menu is going to be in that language, right?
Right, yes, because Hero selects his skill from a Dragon Quest-style menu with his down B, and therefore you can only see one language at a time. So if I were facing a Hero player and he was cycling through spells with down B, I would not know what his options are until he kills me with one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, so, like... Hero maintains the tradition of the DLC characters being a fair whack stronger than most of the cast, but also has the most moves out of any member of Super Smash Bros. In history because of that giant spell list, and also puts himself at an advantage if you put your game to Japanese and you're fighting me, because I'm dumb. I'm a big dumb. I don't speak Japanese.
All right. Let's see. Things that came out. There are things that were talked about that came out. Let's see. Luigi Mansion 3, not a huge thing. Link's Awakening, I was excited for that one. It didn't sound like it went bad. It went pretty well over with the custom dungeons you could make. Trials of Mana and the original Mana series, I guess, came out for Switch.
Yes. So there's a couple ways to play Secret of Mana in this day and age. You can play the Secret of Mana remake and the Trials of Mana remake, or you can play Collection of Mana that released on the Switch, which is emulated ports of the Super Nintendo versions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But I'm guessing it sounds like everything's going well. Again, this is again why Nintendo does what Sony doesn't, and why Xbox does what Sony doesn't, and that is going to their back catalog, going to their older games and being like, we love you guys. Let's show you the appreciation you deserve. Here you go, gamers and players. Have our old games and enjoy them, because, you know, maybe we'll make newer games of these old games you like. And, you know, another one, Panzer Dragoon, I guess, was announced. I don't know anything about it. It was part of the Nintendo Direct, I think, and I don't know if they made a remake or whatnot, so that's a bad thing to be putting on here for me to talk about, because I can't talk about it.
Okay, so I remember this. I remember this from the magazine days, and Panzer Dragoon was one of the original games that people made their case around for emulation, because Panzer Dragoon, either you played it on a Sega Saturn, you played it on an original Xbox, or you were told to go F yourself because it was just that hard to find and play. And it really hadn't gotten a re-release or an HD remaster or anything like that. It was a niche game, but apparently really good. So to get another one, those people are probably creaming their jeans because, oh my god, finally someone noticed us. They care.
All right. It sounds like it doesn't look like there's a new thing, because I don't know. But let's see. Going through more of these things. I'm going over time because I want to talk about more things. I like talking about games. I guess I'll stay in the Nintendo corner real quick, because that seems like something you're familiar with. Fire Emblem Three Houses. Did you touch that one? I know you were a big fan of the some of the earlier Fire Emblem games, right?
I was not. That was Adam.
That was Adam.
Yes.
Fuck that guy for not showing up then. Jeez.
Yeah, so Fire Emblem, I played the first GBA release, and like it's okay. It's no Final Fantasy Tactics, but it's okay. And then with Awakening and the subsequent games, they did a lot of starting with Awakening, they had eugenics. Like literally, I'm gonna pair you two up, and you're gonna have a kid with cool abilities. Like, and really, Fire Emblem has found its new audience and its new source of revenue, not from having tight strategic gameplay, even though sometimes it does, like with a Fire Emblem Conquest.
But by shipping their people?
Yes, with all the shipping. Just like with Three Houses. You can recruit anybody. And you can pair them up and have social links and all that shit. Like, it's basically The Sims. It's The Sims with a strategy game attached. Here, you two kiss!
Who knew? I did not realize you could actually make a game based on shipping people that wasn't a visual novel. Let's see. Pokemon Sword and Shield, the only Pokemon game I have not bought, either on release or post-humorously. And it turns out it is probably one of the worst Pokemon games.
Absolutely.
It is just like, what the fuck was the point of giant Pokemon?
Gigantamax is probably their least innovative idea ever.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna make them large, but we can't make them overpowered, so whatever.
Yeah. I thought the like special transformations they did with the stones, huge ripoff of a fucking Digimon, was just ridiculous. I mean, like the Mega Evolutions is like it seems so silly and stupid, and doing X moves was weird, and it's like I think the most fun I think I had. I don't know if I haven't actually had a huge lot of fun with Pokemon now that I'm thinking about it. Besides playing it with my wife, and I think it's still, I think something that someone has talked to me about that I'm realizing is a huge ripoff is the fact that Pokemon can make 2 separate games based around excluding parts of the roster to you because you bought one or the other game. And it's like,
yeah,
like you're gonna get they're gonna create a whole new 100 Pokemon to add to their 1,000 Pokemon list, and then say you can't have 6 of them because you didn't buy the right game, but you'll get the 6 that the other game isn't going to get. And I'm like, that's a huge rip, and the fact they can still get away with that shit, like that's.
Well, so back in the day when you had like the link cables and shit, right? Like Pokemon in school was the ultimate social tool because you immediately had something in common with someone else. You had a reason to talk to them about it, and you could also share secrets about the game and like exchange rumors, like pushing the truck and all that. So there was every reason to have that where you are encouraging communication and building a community and all that.
Right, but you still had the mechanics of certain things like the evolutions that required that you trade with other players. That is a great, I love that idea because it inspires, it asks you to play with other players to get evolutions, whereas you restricting you because you didn't get this game or because you couldn't get this game.
Yeah.
I think is a little like that's something we could leave in the past. I feel in the next in the next Pokemon game, should it ever come out. I say should it ever come out. It's gotta fucking come out.
Yeah. So from a functional standpoint, both prevent you from completing your Pokedex, but you view exclusive monsters as a stick and unique evolutions as a carrot, more or less. Like you want to reward people for trading with new evolutions, but you don't want to discipline them and force them to make friends and like get those other 6 Pokemon from another game.
Yeah, I would rather they have the ability to maybe make it difficult or whatnot, but I don't think that, forcing people to buy, because it also leads to people doing bullshit like, we do in my house every now and again, which is buy both games. And we have now a crossover of the, 150 Pokemon that are out there. And then we each have the exclusive little ones. But we spent twice as much money for the same game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that just seems like, absurd.
Oh, it is. And regarding Sword and Shield, I think this is the first main Pokemon game that does not include the entire Pokedex.
Yeah, that was the other the big ball thing they tried getting away with that was like, immediately no. Immediately like, what are you trying to do? You're trying to tell us that we're not going to be able to do our... No. No.
Literally catch them all.
Yeah, it's like you tell us to catch them all and they say, no, you can't catch them all. They say,
they cut out certain Pokemon, they cut out certain moves, they cut out signature moves from Pokemon that are in the game, like really slapdash, and I understand that they kind of dug their own grave and painted themselves into a corner by continuing to add Pokemon, but like you don't need to keep adding that many more Pokemon each time, guys. Like no one told you that you had to. It's cool. And like I will simp for Score Bunny night and day, and I will buy Score Bunny merch, and I have Score Bunny stickers on my Nintendo Switch, but I am not buying Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yeah, no, that's the last straw, I think, and we'll see what comes next, if anything, with
the bit of patience they got from X and Y will have been The Last of Us and our patience.
All right. Well, I'm definitely feeling the crash. I feel we've been on for quite some time, and I've covered most of the stuff I think I really wanted to cover on here. Besides, New Horizons. I was like, I was definitely like, take my money and churn up turnips for days. Turnips for days. Breath of the Wild's getting a sequel. Excited for that. And of course, I think the one thing I want to mention with that is they did something really fun. Partway through, they're still developing it and working on it. And they're like, we know you're waiting and you want to hear more news. And we haven't really got anything really new to tell you besides, it's still coming out. But while you're waiting for that, here, have this. We're giving you Hyrule Warriors 2.
Ooh.
And they came out, and Hyrule Warriors 2 is out, and I think I've got it upstairs, and it's ready to play, and I haven't played it yet.
Go, John!
But
that's your destiny.
But I think one of my favorite parts of the fact that they did it is that they didn't just do, here's a new Legend of Zelda game. Here's a new Legend of Zelda game that also takes place in Breath of the Wild. So if you're interested in Breath of the Wild lore and other parts of that, this game, while not a sequel, is still attached, will give you more, and is not a fucking mobile game. So, yeah. I think that's it. I feel I've covered everything I wanted to cover.
Awesome.
Thank you guys for joining for the stream. Thank you, Cody, for sitting here for the last 2 hours, near almost 2 hours, as we go over E3 of the past and hoping for good news on E3 of the future. We'll definitely try and cover that. I think once we figure out more of who's going to be there, what's going to be there, and oh sure, now I get the 5. Now I'm up to 5 viewers. Welcome, guys. This is the end.
Hey, hey, yes, welcome to the end. The stream is almost over, but right now, if you want to see us again, you can follow John Bosco. And wouldn't you know, he's at 66 followers. So if all you follow, one of you is going to be his 69th follower, and that would be pretty nice.
Pretty nice. Yes, I think the big thing though is fuck mobile games. That's where I'm gonna go. That's not true. Don't turn console games into mobile games and expect it to count as a goddamn sequel, unless unless somehow someone nails it out of the park, which I don't think I've heard of anything like that.
Yeah, no, because when you move it to mobile, you change the entire control scheme. Mm-hmm. You've definitely changed the team working on it. You look like it doesn't even have to be a mobile game. If you look at like Metroid Federation Force, like that would have been a decent game to release if there had been a mainline Metroid game within 10 years of its release. No. So. Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
So I think I think my last message, besides the don't turn it into a mobile game, my last message, for this wonderful stream is Kojima. I'm talking directly to you. Save Sam Fisher. Save Ape Escape. Take them to Xbox, where you'll bring them into the safe harbor of Xbox, and they'll probably keep you in there forever. But on the plus side, it's not Konami.
Welcome to Hideo Kojima's Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon.
I mean, they put Ape Escape in Metal Gear. They can do it again with fucking Tom Clancy shit. Oh, all right. Well, guys, have a good day and stay safe. You haven't been following me?
I haven't logged into my account in over a year.
That's it. I'm done.